Good morning, students. In previous video we discussed some important terms connected with the current electricity, that are electric potential, electric current and resistance. Now we will see the next topic, that is Ohm's law. This law derives a relation between the above mentioned three terms. The relation between the three terms, potential difference V, current I and resistance R. How these three terms are related, that is explained in Ohm's law. So before learning this law, you must have a clear knowledge about the meaning of these three terms. This law states that the current flowing through a conductor and the potential difference across it are directly proportional if all the physical conditions of the conductor remaining constant. The meaning of this statement I will explain with an experiment. Consider a conductor. You may take a conductor or resistance wire as the experimental wire, and the symbolic representation of a resistance wire is just a zigzag line. This resistance wire is the experimental wire, and through this conductor or this wire or through this device we will send a different current, and for each current what is the potential difference across it is to be noted. You know, current will flow through this conductor only if the two ends are connected to two opposite potential. That is what we were discussing in the previous video. So here I am connecting the two ends of the conductor to a cell. This is the symbol of a cell. A 2-volt cell is connected across the resistor R. Then current will flow. Current direction, we mark the direction of conventional current in the electric circuit. Conventional current is in the opposite direction to the electronic current. Electrons flow from negative region to positive. This small line symbolizes the negative terminal and long line represents the positive terminal. So electrons will flow from negative to positive, but current flow we assume from positive to negative. So current will flow in this direction through this conductor or resistance. Current will flow in this direction. Now you have to note down how much is the current flowing. Current, its symbol is I. Potential difference, its symbol is V. So V and I you have to record. Here I am marking it in a tabular column. V value here is 2 volt. And what is the corresponding I value? You can record by the help of an ammeter. In diagram I have not shown. Here you connect an ammeter. That ammeter will tell you how much is the current flowing through this resistance wire R. Suppose it is 1 ampere. Now you have to change the potential difference. Here I am connecting one more cell in series. There are two cells, each of 2 volt. So 2 plus 2, 4 volt is the potential difference. By increasing the number of cells, potential difference across the two ends of the wire we are increasing. When it became 4 volt, you will see the current value also proportionally increases. V value became double. It was 2 volt, now it is 4. So you will see the current also becomes double. Instead of 1 ampere, it has become 2 ampere. Again repeat the same thing. You add one more cell here. So potential difference will become 6 volt, and you will see current has become 3 ampere. Now next turn, here 4 cells you connect. So 8 volt will be the potential difference and the current value will be 4 ampere. So from this experiment you will notice that when V value increases, a proportionate increase happens in the I value, and this is known as Ohm's law. V and I are directly proportional. When V value increases, means potential difference across the conductor, we are increasing by increasing the number of cells. So when V value increases, I value also proportionally increases. And there are some conditions that this conductor R you must maintain in same physical conditions throughout the experiment. Means while taking the readings, every time the material of this conductor, length of the conductor, its thickness, temperature, these physical quantities should remain same. It should not change. Then you can't observe a proportionate change. So the complete statement for Ohm's law is, for a conductor, the potential difference across it and the current flowing through it are directly proportional if all the physical conditions of this conductor remaining constant. The meaning of all physical conditions remaining constant already I told. You should not make any change in the temperature or length or thickness of this wire while doing this experiment. Throughout the experiment, the same wire must be used in same temperature and in same condition. Then you will observe a proportionate change in the V and I value. So V and I are proportional. That means V by I is a constant. What is the meaning of V by I is a constant? If two physical quantities are directly proportional, there will be a proportionality constant. In 9th class you might have studied it. How to find out proportionality constant? Look at the tabular column. Here 4 set of V and I values I have written, and you could see from the readings that they are directly proportional. When V increases, I also proportionally increases. Then to find out proportionality constant, you have to divide V with I. Each V value you divide with the corresponding I value. For example, first reading V by I is 2 by 1. The answer will come 2. Second case, V by I, that is 4 by 2. Again you will get 2. Third case, V by I is 6 by 3, that is 2. Fourth case, V by I, that is 8 by 4, that is 2. So for each reading, V by I remains constant. That is the meaning of proportionality constant. So when you divide V with I, if it comes constant in every case, that means that V and I are directly proportional. And that constant, in this case, the constant what you are getting is 2. This constant value will be the resistance of this wire. Resistance is measured in a unit called ohm. This is the symbol of ohm. So when you divide V with I, the value 2, that is the resistance of this wire. Or you can write this constant comes as the resistance of the wire. So you can write Ohm's law in mathematical form, that is V by I is equal to R, or you may write in easy form V is equal to I into R. This is the mathematical form of Ohm's law. Now we will see how to make VI graph for Ohm's law. Here you have V values and I values. With these two set of readings you have to plot the graph. You have to plot I on x-axis and V on y-axis. This is VI graph. Plot these readings. You will get a straight line. Because V and I are directly proportional. Since they are directly proportional, you will get a straight line like this. This is known as VI graph. And the conductors which obey Ohm's law, they are called as ohmic conductors. For ohmic conductors, VI graph will come as a straight line. That proves that V and I are directly proportional. Such conductors are called ohmic conductors, and all metals are ohmic conductors. Means they obey Ohm's law. For them, V and I are directly proportional. Then, when for some conductors like junction valves, LED, for them, if you plot VI graph, it will not be a straight line. You may get a curve like this. That means that conductors are not obeying Ohm's law. For them, V and I are not directly proportional. We call them as non-ohmic conductors. And examples are electrolytes, LED, filament of the bulb. These things are not obeying Ohm's law. So just you have to learn in your syllabus, you have to learn just the meaning of ohmic and non-ohmic conductors and examples. Conductors which obey Ohm's law, they are ohmic conductors. Their VI graph will be a straight line. Conductors which do not obey Ohm's law, that means for them V and I are not directly proportional. They are called non-ohmic conductors. Their graph, VI graph, will not be a straight line. From VI graph, you can calculate what is the resistance of this conductor. Let us see how to do it. First you have to conduct experiment and get the V and I values. Then plot a graph with V against I. You got a straight line. Then you have to find out the slope of this VI graph. Slope of VI graph. How to find out slope of a line you have studied in 9th class. I will just briefly explain the easiest method. There are many methods to find out the slope of a line. The easiest method is by taking any 2 points on the graph line, you make a right angle triangle. And the side of the triangle parallel to y-axis you label as y, and the side of the triangle parallel to x-axis you mark as x. Then measure y and x, divide y with x, that will give the slope. Easiest method to find out the slope of a line. Here this y symbolizes V. This y value, it symbolizes y-axis quantity, that is V, and x symbolizes x-axis quantity, that is I. So when you find out y by x, actually you are finding out V by I. V by I, it is equal to R. According to Ohm's law, V upon I is equal to R. So here slope is V by I. That means V by I is R. So this is the conclusion. From the slope of a graph also you can find out resistance of the conductor. Mathematically, if you find out V by I, you will get the reading as 2 only. So resistance of the conductor you can find out by 2 methods. You divide V value with I in each case, then you will get a constant, that is the resistance of the conductor. Or graphically you can find out resistance of this conductor is, first you plot a graph with V and I, then find out the slope of the graph by this method, then you will, that slope, your answer will come as 2 ohm if you mathematically calculate. So by 2 methods you can find out the resistance. So remember the statement, slope of VI graph gives resistance. We can draw IV graph also. VI graph and IV graph are different. VI graph means V on y-axis, I on x-axis. In IV graph, just opposite, we will plot I on y-axis and V on x-axis. This is IV graph. So with the IV graph means same readings you have to plot on different axes. I here you have to plot on y-axis and V on x-axis. Then also you will get a straight line. Both VA graph and IV graph are straight lines only. Here if you find out slope, what will be the slope of IV graph? Here I have made the triangle. This is y and this is x. Slope of VA graph is, IV graph is y by x. Here y symbolizes I. X symbolizes V. So slope of IV graph is actually I by V. From this formula, what is I by V? Look at the formula, V is equal to IR. So I by V is actually 1 by R. From Ohm's law formula, you will see that I by V is 1 by R. That means reciprocal of resistance. Reciprocal of resistance is known as conductance. Resistivity and conductivity are just reciprocals. So 1 by R is reciprocal of resistance is called conductance. So remember the statement, slope of VA graph will give resistance and slope of IV graph gives reciprocal of resistance, that is called conductance. Now the next term to discuss is specific resistance, meaning of specific resistance. It is also known as resistivity. You have already learned meaning of resistance. Meaning of resistance is, it is the obstruction provided by a material for the flow of electrons and its symbol is R. Here it is specific resistance, meaning difference is there. Let us see the meaning of specific resistance. It is the resistance provided by a material of unit length and unit area of cross section. To consider a long wire, listen to the example. Consider a long wire. When current is flowing through this wire, how much obstruction it provides or opposition this material provides for the flow of current, that is known as resistance R. Specific resistance means you need not consider the whole length of wire, consider unit length of wire. Meaning of unit length is 1 meter in SI system. Unit length is 1 meter and unit area of cross section means 1 meter square. So you consider 1 meter square cross sectional area and 1 meter long. Consider 1 meter long wire. Don't consider the whole wire. You imagine this much is 1 meter and this shaded area of cross section is 1 meter square. So how much resistance this piece of wire having unit length and unit area of cross section provides? That resistance we call as specific resistance. How much is the total obstruction provided by the material? That is known as resistance. How much resistance is provided by unit length of wire having unit area of cross section? That is known as specific resistance. Then some difference. Resistance depends on certain factors, we discussed it earlier. Resistance increases with length and resistance decreases with area of cross section. But about specific resistance, if you increase the length of this wire, the specific resistance is not going to change. It is constant for a material. Actually, unit length and unit area of cross section, we can also say unit volume. This volume is known as unit volume. So specific resistance does not vary with the length or thickness of the wire. That is one difference between resistance and specific resistance. Resistance varies with the length and thickness, but specific resistance does not vary. It is the resistance of unit volume of material. That is the word specific is used. What is the resistance of unit volume of material? That is known as specific resistance. Its value is constant. Then when temperature of the wire changes, naturally its resistance changes. So its specific resistance means resistance of this unit volume also changes. So specific resistance depends on two factors. It depends on the nature of the substance. For different substances, different will be the specific resistance, and it depends on the temperature. But resistance depends on length, thickness and all other factors. Now how to calculate the specific resistance? Let us derive a formula to find out specific resistance or resistivity of a material. Consider a wire of length L and this cross-sectional area is A. You know, resistance of this wire is proportional to length. You have studied in the topic resistance. Resistance is proportional to length and resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. Resistance depends on these two factors. Then by joining these two you can write R is proportional to L into 1 by A, that is L by A. Then sign of proportionality you can change into sign of equality by adding one constant here. That constant is rho, a Greek alphabet rho into L by A. R resistance is equal to rho into L by A. This is the formula to find out resistance of any wire. Here R stands for resistance, L for length of the wire, A for area of cross section, and this term rho is known as specific resistance or resistivity. Remember, in this formula R is for resistance of the whole wire and rho is for specific resistance of the wire, means resistance of unit volume of material of this wire. So the formula for rho you can rearrange from here. Rho is equal to RA by L. So this is the formula to find out resistance and specific resistance. Specific resistance rho is equal to RA by L. From the formula you can find out the unit of specific resistance. You know resistance is measured in a unit called ohm. Unit of resistance is ohm. For R unit is ohm. Area of cross section meter square upon length again meter. So unit of rho is ohm meter. Specific resistance, its symbol is rho and unit is ohm meter. Based on this formula, we will solve some numericals while discussing the exercise. Now, resistance, its reciprocal is conductance and reciprocal of resistivity is conductivity. Reciprocal of resistance we call as conductance Reciprocal of resistivity is known as conductivity. So conductivity formula, conductivity symbol is sigma, Greek alphabet sigma. Conductivity is equal to 1 upon resistivity. Reciprocal of resistivity is conductivity. And unit of conductivity is 1 upon resistivity unit is ohm meter. So 1 upon ohm meter is the unit of conductivity sigma. 1 upon ohm is also known as Siemens. Then meter inverse. So unit of conductance you can write as 1 upon ohm meter or Siemens meter inverse. Now let us discuss about superconductors. In previous topic I told, for metals, when temperature increases, its resistance increases, and when temperature decreases, its resistance decreases. For certain metals like lead, tin and all, if you cool it to a very low temperature, its resistance goes on decreasing with the temperature, and finally it becomes almost zero. Resistance becomes negligible or almost zero means its conductance becomes very high. Resistance and conductance are reciprocals. So in that situation, that metal gets very high conductivity and we call it as a superconductor. And tin and lead are examples, because when we cool them to a very low temperature, its resistance almost becomes zero and its conductivity becomes very high. So we call it as superconductors. Next topic, the term resistance has importance in selecting the material for different requirements. For example, for power transmission, that is to transmit power from the power station to different places, we use conductors. That conductors must have very low resistance, then only their conductivity will be very high. If the material has very high resistance, the problem is that energy or power will be lost during the transmission. So for power transmission as well as for giving the connection, electric connection, we must use wires having very low resistance like copper, silver, aluminium. These are metals having very low resistance. So these metals are mainly chosen for making connection wires. The reason is that their resistance is very low, so conductance is very high. Then for making standard resistors means like resistance box, rheostat and all. For standard resistors means their resistance should remain constant always. According to the temperature variation, their resistance should not change. They are called standard resistors. For making standard resistors, we use metallic alloys. Metallic alloys like manganese, constantan are used for making standard resistors. The reason is that for metallic alloys, when temperature varies, resistance will not vary, it remains constant. Third case, for making fuse wire. About fuse we will study in the coming chapter. For fuse wire, you need a high resistance wire having very low melting point. So there we use alloy of lead and tin. Alloy of lead and tin is having high resistance but low melting point. So for making this fuse wire, we use the alloy of lead and tin. For making filament, you need a high resistance material having high melting point. For fuse wire you need high resistance and low melting point material. But for filament you need high resistance, high melting point material. And suitable material for it is tungsten, because tungsten has high resistance and high melting point. For making heat radiators like room heater, electric heater, for such heating devices you need a high resistance material, and there you choose nichrome wire is chosen. It is also a metallic alloy. It is having very high resistance. So depending on the requirement we choose materials having different resistances. So with this the first topic gets over. You have some numericals based on the formula V is equal to IR, and specific resistance rho is equal to RA by L. And that numericals and exercise questions will be discussed in the next video. Okay, thank you.